no lie. Resonating, vibes in, feeling good. Everything but vibrating. I am at peace. I am at peace.
This is my tune. Let me play you my tune, mate. My tune. If you have a racist friend, now's the time for your friendship to end. And the next bit is, if you have a racist friend, now's the time for our friendship to end. You judge a man by the company that he keeps. So if you're surrounding yourself with these people, ta-da, as they say in the East End of London, ta-da, mate. Yeah. And so many people on like Twitter and that, and they now social media, you can track down where they work, and that's where social media for good comes in. But unfortunately, it generates money, doesn't it? Generates money. You should have to show ID to have a social media account. But yeah, that's Big Brother though. That's like right wing. Then they're going to track us. Yeah, or whatever. Because people can't behave responsibly.
Right. The thing is, it could be as such that people who are writing things, not just about black people now, people who are writing hateful stuff online could be as such that they're like just like the kind of person who wouldn't do anything in real life, and they're like they find they're like almost when you drive a car, it's easier to get road rage, whereas you wouldn't be doing that if you were walking so much because you feel like you're in this big machine and whatever. Maybe that anonymity makes them brave, right? On the one side, but from the person who's seeing that and who it's directed at. That point to me doesn't really help. Doesn't really help me feel calmer. Like, oh, right, okay, it's just a load of idiots doing a load of idiot stuff. That's a point of someone who isn't the person being spoken of or with the bad.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We can't experience it. I've got no idea what you're feeling today. I've never had that. I can never have that feeling. That's right. And you know what? I think I was talking to someone on Friday about this very thing. I think it's got worse. We're becoming more polarized and we're becoming more divided. And a lot of that's down to, I think, the impact of social media, but also this whole thing of freedom of speech, because somewhere there's got to be some brakes applied. And on Saturday, I was talking to a right-wing comedian who was arguing that freedom of speech, it's got to be the golden principle. You've got to be allowed to say and express whatever you want, even if it is hurtful or harmful. Well, that's interesting, because I could just hit you right now in the face with this piece of wood and say it's a piece of wood, and I'm just expressing my use of language whilst battering you with it. And he went, well, why have you got to get violent? I'm like, well, I've got to accept your words, you've got to accept my reaction.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't work like that.
I just think we need to, needs to be acknowledged as to the things that are going on. And there needs to be something to like allow me to feel equality, mate. Equality.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen, mate. Won't happen. I think the next generations. That's why I get so upset when they say they're woke. They're not woke. They're just not putting up with this crap. Then it's not an insult. It should be a positive term. And I think that the younger generations will get better at it. Like I watched the game last night with a Jamaican friend. An Oriental friend. Do we say Oriental now? Asian, Southeast Asian? What do we call? What do we say now? See, even I don't know.
Asian. Do you know Oriental is like it's a thing that the colonizers put on that area. So like say.
Why did they call it the Orient?
I don't know. Probably as much as someone calling something Sufre or what. I don't really know, but probably something like you said. They didn't take much care over what they were doing. Do you know what I mean?
But I was watching the game though, and there was a gay guy, and there was there's a real mix. There was a good mix, right? And my kids, that's their friends. So there is, I think, younger people coming together, which is why I'm disappointed to hear that you could come to London and feel scared, because I think London isn't England. London.
Well, this is my point, bruv. I suppose what made me feel. I wouldn't say scared, but aware, bruv. Like heightened awareness. You understand? I don't know if I can really explain that to you as not having necessarily been in that sort of situation, right? But like just being like on your toes, innit? Basically, I suppose is the best way to put it. And it wasn't from the fear of Londoners necessarily, right? There was a lot of different people about, different accents, whatever, from all over the country, super drunk, mainly guys. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like shouting, rare. And you know that all it could be is like just all of a sudden it's shouting at you, and you might have to just take that as you walk off. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. And like that was my whereabouts. But knowing I had like my fiance with me made another heightened level of like my eyes were open and I was on my toes. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not like I
Yeah,
could just.
my son come down from Liverpool on a train. He was up there for the weekend, and he took the train home. And he was sending me pictures from the carriage and messages. And every station, more and more drunk England fans were getting on to come to London to be part of it.
I mean, yeah,
Right?
exactly. But I mean, at this time of day, it was a real woohoo vibe, real energized, yeah. But I thought at 1 o'clock, if it's that, it's at its peak at 1 o'clock. Everything's friendly. People are singing funny songs. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
saying hello to people. Do you know what I mean? At 1 o'clock, we were like, I'm so glad that we're not here this evening, basically. And they said, anyway, let's stop going into that. Let me talk about something else. Right. So I used to grow up in a place called Kettering, yeah. And I remember when I used to live in Kettering, I went to school in a place called Corby. Corby has a lot of. It was the last place to have like a mining community.
Teeth. It was the last place to have teeth.
Right.
It consistently gets voted the worst place in the UK to live.
Okay.
Half my family live there. We've had this conversation before.
Yeah,
I used to go there all the time as a kid.
Right, so you'll remember this, yeah? I remember when I first went from Kettering to Corby, I was going to school in Corby, right? I had a really good school there. I went to this school. And I first went into a shop. I stayed with a mate, went into a shop. And in the shop, from when you walk into the door of the shop, yeah, it was like an alleyway, which was about a metre wide. So you'd struggle to get two people past each other. And at the end of the shop, like, there was like a window. But it was all perspex. So you could see what was in the shop. But you couldn't touch it, right?
You could touch it. You had to point to it, and they would go.
You
and
had to
get
point to it, yeah.
Yeah.
A man would walk all the way down to the front of the shop. He'd grab what
Yeah.
you say and say, "This one." You go, "No, that one." And you go, "This one." You're like, "Yeah." I was thinking to myself the other day because I know. Have you ever seen? You've seen that in Corby, right?
I've said, yeah. The off license in where I lived in Manchester was like it, and also when we used to go to Corby, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So this is a huge point because that was one of my points. Do you reckon they do it anywhere else? And you've just said Manchester. I reckon it happened in.
Yeah, and also America is a lot of places in America they do it.
Right. So what made me think about it was, yeah, in Corby, for example, how vexed was that guy at the point where he said,
Yeah.
"Do you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to perspex the whole shop." The whole shop. Like,
How much thievery did he have to
do
put
you
up with?
know what I'm saying? And then imagine the next time the thief comes in and he's like, oh, this has changed.
Plastic.
Do you know-
Foiled by plastic.
Do you know? When I say perspex now, I mean like plastic. Like
Yeah. I know.
you
it's
couldn't
hard
smash
screen.
through it. Like
No. But you see what happens is them community shops, they keep the community going, but they get robbed. So where I lived in Hackney, when we had the riots, our community shop, that you could go down there if you couldn't write, and the man would write you a letter, or if you need something translating, or he'd let you have things on credit. And he knew a lot of time we weren't going to get paid back. He was an old kind of Muslim guy, and he just believed in helping people. Then we had the riots, and they cleaned out his shop. They just cleaned it out, right? And he was broken because you can't get insurance in them areas. And then everybody around the place had a collection to restock his shop. We all put money in to restock it. And people who knew anyone who robbed that shop grassed them up to the police. Because that's how hard is that? You're trying to run a business.
mm-hmm. For real, man. I'm just thinking like that man must have been, or woman, or
Just
person
completely
must have been
sick
super vexed. Yeah, like I know it's wrong, yeah, but at that point where they were like, "Do you know what? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I got a plan." And then Mrs. would be like, "What you doing, Derek?"
Are we doing the garage? I have a delivery of plastic.
Derek
But you
must
see
have been
now,
vexed,
because back
bro.
in the day, when people used to go shoplifting, they used to like look left and right, wear a big coat and pretend that their arm was in the pocket, but you keep their hand out through the buttons and come up. And now they just walk in, pick it up, look at the man like, what are you going to do? And walk out.
Yeah.
Even if there's cameras, they don't care. They do not care.
No.
Coffee was always the one that, because you got nick things that you can resell. So coffee was always a good one because you could pick up a couple of jars of that and make a £5 in the pub. Just literally come out of the shop and go across the road to the pub and sell the coffee for like £2. And then very often the man would go into the pub at the end of the day and the landlord would give him back stuff that people had tried to sell that they nicked. It was a hilarious place to live.
Right.
Hilarious and hilarious.
I just want to put something out there about maybe I'm old, yeah, or maybe etiquette has been lost, right?
Etiquette.
Yeah, because like for me, I don't know, man. There was a time when you allowed people the privacy of their own mind in public spaces. Yeah, I'll say that again. There was a time when you allowed people the privacy of their own mind in public spaces. And recently, I've realised people will either speak on the phone on loudspeaker just like whether
Yeah.
in a changing room at the gym or like on a you know what I mean, on a bus or on a train, or they'll just sit there watching stuff. Like whatever it is, it could have swearing in or whatever, yeah, and
Yeah,
there
they
could
don't
be
care.
utes about, yeah, and they don't
Yeah.
care, blood. Then it's out to the open, and you know what? That really vexes me. It's like
But so I
instant.
was on an aeroplane, and the man next to me started watching porn. And I looked at him. I said, "Mate, you can stop playing with yourself." He went, "What?" I said, "What are you doing? Why are you watching this?" He goes, "If you don't like it, don't look." I'm like, "Nah, mate, you need to turn that off because there's people all around you. Have a
But
bit of
imagine
respect."
that, yeah, on loudspeaker, blood. Do you know what I
He had
mean?
headphones on, to be fair to him, but
I mean, I don't
I
know, man.
don't
So
think that
my
the
message,
lack of being able to hear it detracted from the plot. To be honest with you, I think she was going to help them 5 men regardless.
my, my my message being like anyone who like manages to watch this, like tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah, man, maybe think about not having your phone on loudspeaker when you're out in public, and then
Man,
maybe,
you become really bossy today, ain't you?
yeah, I just feel like, come on,
You
man,
just look, you're just like fed up and
society needs
oh,
to fix up, mate.
you need to get yourself a banana milkshake that will.
I don't do dairy, bruv.
No, but that's why you need to do it. Then you'll be in that toilet, you'll be vomiting, and it'll give you something else to think
And
about.
itching.
It's miserable. You'll come out in hives. Misery loves company. You're not bringing me down. What are you doing? You've even tidied up the kitchen in the background. What's going
Oh,
on with you? You've not done any work today. You've just tidied up because you're so vexed.
no, I've done loads of work. I was it distracted me from like. Anyway, all I'm saying is
Go
like
on.
we need to realize these things are there. Do you know what I mean? People sit there on their phone on loudspeakers. If like it could be your daughter, it could be your cousin. Do you know what I mean? Just let
Do you know
generally
what I
spread
do
the
though?
message.
I've got into trouble before now. I nearly got punched for doing this once. When the guy was talking, I joined in the conversation as if I thought he was talking to me. And
That's
he was
my
like,
joke.
he's going, yeah. And he's got his phone in his hand like this, going, yeah. So what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just standing next to you, mate. He's like, yeah. Look, some idiot next to me is talking. I went, yeah, I've got one of them as well. He goes, I'm going to put you back. He goes, what do you think you're funny, mate? I went, sorry, I thought you were talking to me.
See,
No, you know I wasn't talking to you.
I ain't got time for that. That's the thing. I ain't got time for that. So I ain't got the energy for that. So I just feel like I don't know, sit there vexed. Maybe that's like I've become too English. Just sit there
See,
vexed.
evil without the shirt off, mate. You should have moaned about the bins next, didn't you? I tell you what's gone downhill. St Albans. Oh, what? They've even got black people fixing the gas meters. What's going on? I can't get over. You were surprised to see a black man as a gas man.
Mate,
You're so caring.
You're missing the point of the whole thing. It was a beautiful moment where we both gave each other this look, right? Which is not recognised, yeah. It's not recognised by people outside of the black community.
Secret BAME look.
It was a secret fame.
You got secret BAME looks going on, mate. I tell you what, she's how it starts.
There's two funny things about it. I said like black people, and you said a secret babe look. All the same. No,
All the same, mate. All BAMEs, the Orientals. Here's the thing, right? Soft laugh. Yeah, I get that you have that kind of look of recognition. My friend Gary is from Zimbabwe, and if you ever know anyone from Zimbabwe, they're the funniest people. He said when he first came to England, he goes, I could not believe what I saw in the supermarkets. These white people working in the supermarket. I had to ring home. Go, Mama, they've got white people packing my bags. Look, I took a photo. Yes, me and the white guy packing my bag. Brilliant, mate. He just didn't expect it. I'm like, yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly. Yeah, it was pure joke. What else were you going to say to me today?
I was just going to ask you, how did you feel now that you've been wearing an England shirt with pride for a month? But I think we've covered that. Heps about wearing my Celtic shirt today. Do you know, I was wearing my Denmark shirt throughout the tournament, and when England played the semi-final, we had to go to a party. Then we watched the quarterfinal England-Ukraine game, and I had a Denmark t-shirt on. And the amount of abuse I was getting, I had to put on an accent, and I had to say that I'm wearing it because of where I'm from in Aarhus. I'm living in England for maybe 7 to 10 years now. But
I'll
I
be
like.
honest though, the people who, and this is a broad generalisation, but the people who would be seriously angry with you wearing that shirt wouldn't need an accurate accent. It would just need to be an accent, innit?
Yeah. Who are you wearing that for? Well, because when I first coming to England, I want everyone to know that of my history and where I'm from. Yeah, so it's good fun, really.
Wow. Wow.
And plus, it was a cool shirt. I do like a bit of red. I do. Yeah.
What was your track? Sorry, what was your track? You didn't
My
even say what
track,
the track was
Racist
called.
Friend by the Specials.
Craziest Friend by the Specials.
Racist friend.
Racist friend.
Friend. If you have a racist friend. It doesn't sound right, that accent, does it? If you have a racist friend. I'm going to end up speaking with a Zimbabwe accent now for the rest of the evening.
But big up, man. I've said my piece. I've stopped being so grumpy now and all.
God, misery, mate.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to lie down after this.
Oh, here's one for you. I don't even know if I should really put this in here. But like, you know, I don't know. What do you want, Bill Cosby or Instagram?
Oh, Bill Cosby.
Right. So like, he was released recently, having served 2 years of a 3 to 10 year sentence. Now, I don't know enough about the situation to know, like, to be able to say whether I think he did something or he didn't do something. But he did this thing, I think, when he left, right?
Yep.
And I forgot that was his thing, right? So it was either as he left or as he walked in or whatever. I don't know where the footage comes from, but he kind of went like this.
What's the thing he did? Oh, you did a little look.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, that's his thing. I forgot that was his thing.
Things. His other things is putting drugs into women's drinks and then raping them with a black tat. Oh, there's Bill. Which one's he doing today?
Oh, mate.
Don't let him serve behind the bar. No, wrong. He's a wrong one. Even out of 110 women are lying. You know, it's possible, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what I do think's mad though? Is how they can have such a high-profile case and make such simple mistakes as what I heard was happened. Pardon?
Mistakes? Do you not watch Columbo? They don't make mistakes. They forget bits. They lose bits of evidence. Yeah, shocking, man.
Yeah.
Didn't he get let out? Wasn't part of it because when he confessed, part of the agreement was that they would never lock him up for it.
I didn't see anything about a confession. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to come back to you on the next show and find out more from the John Ryan monologues of Bill Cosby.
Mate, I've got to do them all. Got to do all of them. He never missed a penalty though, did he? It's not all of them. Do you know what I think is really? I'm sure to keep going about this. I just think that the logic of, hang on, if you're going, oh, they can't, they missed penalties, it's their fault, we're out. But Raheem Sterling's goals kept them in. So it must be confusing being a racist. That's
Do you know, right? I was thinking, like, how can you get so angry about it? Like, yeah. And I don't know, man. I suppose it's like if a traffic warden vexes me and he happens to be a white dude, I'm not then going to walk off being like angry with all white dudes. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But there's no logic to it. Don't try and put logic to it. Don't put it down to a mental health problem. Just put it down to there's some bad, nasty people out there, and True. They are not popular. Because I think one of the good things is the way that it's all been jumped on. All being jumped on. People coming out condemning it, criticising.
Yes, but I want to see action. Action. I'm not saying like, look, because it can be jumped on and it can be popularized to say certain things. This is the same thing I was saying about the whole taking the knee thing, right? It can become a popular statement as if to say, well, we've done this thing, so now we're done, yeah? Like, because we've shown that we're all aware that if you go outside after a black player's hit a penalty, then you can feel scared for your life and have to run down the road or leave your bus, right? But there needs to be a change, mate. There needs to be action, even baby steps. Like, few of the people who have said nasty things, like, being re-educated upon the nasty things they're saying. I know you're thinking that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, I remember when Ian Wright got abused and it turned out the boy was like 15 or something. And his mum said that he needed a good slap. Because some of it's got to be on a mum. Some of it. You can't. I don't think you can just be racist when you go out the front door. And like when you go home, you take your racism off and hang it up.
But I suppose that's the fearful thing as well. Like, how many people do I interact with on a day-to-day that's secretly in their mind? And the thing is, I understand 100%, and this goes out to anyone who it has affected as well. I do believe, that that's part of the tactic as well. So that you put some vile stuff out there, then, and I see that that's directed towards black people. I'm more likely to share that with my black family and loved ones because I'm wanting them to be careful and be right. Yeah. So their message gets spread more than a message of love necessarily, right? So I've got to believe that the majority of people don't feel like that, but that majority of people need to help we re-educate the rest.
Yep.
And I think I'll leave it there, bruv.
Just do it.
Right. I'm a JP. That's JR.
You're so down now. You can't even say your name. I'm JP. I'm just a shape. I'm John Ryan for the benefit of our American and our Cuban. How do I say I am John Ryan in Spanish? No, I don't know that actually.
I don't know, but I'm kind of skanking to the music I can imagine in the background.
Do it. Just he's a John Ryan. I did speak Spanish. I'd always sound like a Mexican.
I think so. I think so.
Was it there?
Slightly different Spanish, though, isn't it? But anyway,
moving on. I'm John Ryan.
I'm Jonathan Prince.
You've been brutally honest.
Big up. Catch you soon, buddy.
We don't know no lie. Resonating, vibes ain't